for the football, but let's be honest, you're staying for the snack. We've got spicy, crispy, cheesy, fried, and everything in between. This is our official playbook for the ultimate big game spread. You can't have a football party without some kind of football-themed food, right? I'm making these cheesy stuffed garlic rolls in the shape of a football. I'm starting with these frozen dinner rolls. These have to thaw and rise. It does take quite a while, so make sure you start the night before. Once they've thawed and puffed up a bit, cut them in half. I like to use my kitchen scissors, but a knife will work well too. Now here's the fun part. I'm using mozzarella string cheese, and we're just gonna cut this into 4 equal parts. Then press 1 into each dough ball. Pinch the dough around it and roll it up tight. We don't want any cheese jailbreaks in the oven. We're arranging the rolls in the shape of a football. Make sure the rolls are touching so they bake together, but not too cramped. Give them room to puff. Brush the tops with an egg wash for that glossy golden finish, and sprinkle with some flake salt. That little bit of crunch on top makes a huge difference. We're gonna bake these at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 18 minutes. I'm gonna use this time to mix up the herb butter that goes on top of our rolls. It is delicious. So we're gonna need 4 tablespoons of melted butter, a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, grated, 1 minced garlic clove, a tablespoon of minced parsley, a tablespoon of minced basil, and some salt and pepper to taste. When the buns are done cooking, move them to the top rack and turn on the broiler, just for a couple of minutes to get the tops extra golden. While they're still warm, brush on the garlic herb butter. To really sell the football shape, I'm using a slice of white cheese on top as the laces. You can just snip it into strips with your kitchen scissors. Set it on like the laces on a football. Serve it with some more marinara. Then get ready for the cheese pull. Next up are these delicious Tex Mex egg rolls. These are really similar to the Chili's Southwestern egg rolls, if you're familiar with those. They're tasty and totally customizable. In a hot skillet, I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of cooking oil, and then I'm gonna add the chicken. We're just gonna let that brown for about 5 minutes. While our filling is cooking, we're gonna mix up the dipping sauce. This one is super easy and you are gonna love it, I promise. I'm using my mini food processor today. You just wanna get the avocado nice and mixed up. You just need half an avocado, a nice ripe one, 1/2 cup of mayo, 2 tablespoons of dry ranch seasoning, and a splash of milk. Blend that up and you've got an amazing thick and creamy dipping sauce. And trust me, you'll use it all. The chicken's almost cooked through, so let's season it. We've got some cumin, chili powder, garlic powder, and a little salt and pepper. This is where all that Tex-Mex flavor comes in. Now add a 1/3 cup corn, a 1/3 cup black beans, a 1/3 cup of red pepper, a 1/3 cup of onion, and about 6 sprigs of cilantro chopped. Stir it all together and cook it just a couple more minutes. Now it's time to add the cheese. I'm using 3/4 cup pepper jack cheese here, and I'm just gonna stir it in until it's all incorporated. Okay, now we're ready to roll, literally. I'm using egg roll wrappers today because they're easy to find and they crisp up really well. You could wrap these in flour tortillas also. I like both equally. So we're just gonna put a 1/4 cup of filling right into the center. Wet the edges, fold the sides in, and roll it up tightly like a burrito. Now you can decide how you wanna cook yours. You can bake them in the oven, you can put them in the air fryer, or you could fry them on the stovetop. I prefer my air fryer. I'm gonna spritz them with oil, and then I'm gonna air fry them at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 3 minutes per side. You can find all the instructions for every cooking method down below in the description. And we have a website called A Food Lover's Kitchen that has so many great recipes, including this one. These are done and they look fantastic. Serve them hot with dipping sauce. They're so crunchy. These are always a hit.
These meatball sliders that we're making next have the obvious advantage of being small and handheld, but also packed with protein and super saucy. I always use store-bought marinara and pre-cooked meatballs for these. You're already making a bunch of food, why make it harder by also having to make all of the components? For the buns, you're gonna need rolls or slider buns, something about this size. Just go with whatever's easiest for you. So I'm just gonna grease lightly a 9x13 pan. You just need something that will fit all of your sliders. And you can stack those right in there. I've taken the top buns off so that I can fit my meatballs on here. Depending on the side of your sliders, you'll be able to fit on generally about 3 meatballs per slider. Add a good spoonful of the marinara, then a slice of the mozzarella and a few basil leaves. Now the top buns can go back on. Okay, and then let's set this aside just for a minute so that we can make the star of the show, the buttery topping. I've got the bowl here that I've melted about a tablespoon of butter in, and I'll add a half teaspoon of grated garlic, half teaspoon of onion powder, and half tablespoon of minced parsley. This is where the magic happens. Brush that mixture over the top of the buns. Then you can sprinkle on some Parmesan cheese if you want. Finally, we'll tint these lightly with foil and put them in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes. Look how great these turned out. My husband's gonna be so excited about these. He never turns down a meatball sub. They are perfectly messy and delicious.
Next up is pulled pork waffle fries. Like Laura said, whenever possible, why not buy the components and just assemble them at home? Choose a good brand of waffle fry, and hopefully they'll all be about the same size. I'm just gonna spread these out on the baking sheet so they all get really crispy. Bake them at 425 degrees Fahrenheit for 25 minutes. In the meantime, we need to heat up the pulled pork and make the coleslaw. For the barbecue pork, you can make it homemade if you've got the time. But honestly, store-bought works just as well. Put 2 cups of pulled pork in a pot and heat it up for a few minutes. And finally for the coleslaw, I'm using pre-shredded cabbage in a bag. And I'm adding 1/4 cup of mayo, 2 teaspoons of rice vinegar, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Stir it up until it's creamy and tangy. The waffle fries are nice and hot. Pile on some pork and then some coleslaw. See how simple that is? I'm gonna top these with a little sliced green onion. We have crunchy and soft and sweet and tangy all happening right here. All right, Laura, what's next on our snack list?
Chili Crunch ramen eggs. These are not your grandma's deviled eggs. Start with 6 eggs covered in cold water. Bring them to a boil, then lower the heat and simmer for 6 minutes. We're going for ramen eggs, still a little jammy in the middle. Once they're done, straight into an ice bath to cool. This helps make peeling way less frustrating. Cut them lengthwise. We're keeping this simple, no scooping and mixing the yolks, just leave them intact. If you like it spicy, use Chili Crunch. I'm using Momofuku's brand Chili Crunch. I love this stuff. And if you like it sweeter, use a Thai sweet chili sauce. Mix together a clove of minced garlic, 2 tablespoons soy sauce, 2 tablespoons rice vinegar, and 2 teaspoons of chili sauce. That's it. Place the eggs yolk side up in a shallow bowl and pour that sauce right over the top. It soaks into the yolks and gives the eggs a ton of umami and heat. Finish with fresh chopped cilantro, chives, and sesame seeds for a little crunch. These are a great cold appetizer that you can make ahead and they will disappear fast.
You need a fresh and bright appetizer too. And one of my favorites is this shrimp and avocado salsa. It's low cal, low carb, and impossible to stop eating. We're gonna start with some cooked shrimp. You can buy this already cleaned and cooked if you want. Then you just need to cut it into 1/2-inch size pieces. Now, 2 chopped tomatoes, a chopped avocado, about a 1/4 cup of chopped red onion, 1/2 cup of chopped cucumber, and 1 to 2 chopped jalapenos, with most of the seeds removed. Those are all the crunchy bits, but now it's time to add some flavor. Any good ceviche is drenched in lime juice. If you have a really juicy lime, you could probably go for 1, but I always go for 2. Cilantro adds a ton of flavor. If you're not into cilantro, go with parsley. Then we'll season it with some salt and pepper. This is personal, so be sure to taste it and add more if necessary. Aside from the chopping time, this is definitely the easiest appetizer you could make. And it smells so good too.
We have this bar in town that makes pizza fries and we all go crazy for them. It is the epitome of comfort food. So we're making those today. Start out with your favorite frozen fries. I'm just gonna make them in the air fryer. You can bake them, make them however you want. Once the fries are done, we turn them into pizza. Just put a piece of parchment paper down, drizzle on some marinara. Store-bought is totally fine here. And load them up with mozzarella cheese. And of course, pepperoni. I'm using the cup and crisp kind because they get these beautiful little edges in the oven. All right, now I'm gonna put these in the oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit just until the cheese is bubbly and that pepperoni is all cupped up and crisp. And it's gonna take about 15 minutes. Pizza and fries at the same time, winning.
Okay, let's spice things up again with this firecracker shrimp. It's very popular. Save the money and make it at home. You're gonna need shrimp. Any size is fine, but I like somewhere in the middle, like a 16 to 20. I put my shrimp into a resealable bag, and then I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of flour and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, and shake it up really good. To cook the shrimp, heat your skillet over medium-high heat with some cooking oil. Set the shrimp in there and cook them undisturbed for 2 to 3 minutes per side. When they're nice and golden, take them out and set them on a paper towel to blot off any oil. For the sauce, mix 2 tablespoons of sweet chili sauce, 1 tablespoon of chili crunch or chili crisp, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, and 1 teaspoon of honey. Pour the sauce right over the shrimp. Toss it gently to get all the pieces coated. And garnish it with sesame seeds and chives. Spicy, sweet, a little bit crunchy. They're perfect.
Next up, we've got buffalo chicken taquitos. These are spicy, crunchy, and totally irresistible, and you only need a handful of ingredients. I'm mixing 2 cups of shredded cooked chicken, 1/4 cup buffalo sauce, and 1/2 cup of cream cheese, plus 2 teaspoons of dry ranch seasoning, 1/2 cup of shredded cheese, and about 2 chopped green onions, just the green parts. You'll need some street taco corn tortillas, and we're gonna stick them in the microwave for just about 20 seconds to heat them up and make them a little bit more pliable so that they won't crack when we're rolling. Spoon the filling down the center of each small tortilla, then roll them up tight. If they're not staying shut, you can secure them with a toothpick. Line them up on a baking sheet and give them a quick spray of oil. This helps them crisp up without deep frying. Bake them at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes until they're golden and crispy. Line them up on a serving tray. You can stack them up and serve them with ranch or blue cheese for dipping. But I'm really loving these Cowboy butter chicken wings lately. They're herby, buttery, and super crispy. It all starts with the Cowboy butter. If you've never had this before, you have to try it. To make it, mix together 1/2 cup of softened butter, 2 cloves of garlic, a tablespoon of lemon juice, and a teaspoon of zest, a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, a teaspoon of paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, 1/2 teaspoon of chives, a couple of chopped basil leaves, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. If the butter's soft enough, it'll be easy enough to stir it all up in the bowl and get it nice and creamy like this. If not, you can always pop it in the microwave for like 10 seconds just to warm it up enough so that you can stir it. All right, let's get the chicken ready. I like to use a big bag like this and put your chicken inside. It just makes it so much less messy. So you've got 2 pounds of chicken wings, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, some salt and pepper in there. I'm gonna put these in the oven on 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes. You can cook them in the air fryer if you want, same time and temperature. All right, we're gonna take them out of the oven now because we're gonna baste them with the Cowboy butter. Get plenty on there, let it melt. Then flip it over and get the other side. Now they go back in the oven for another 15 minutes. Pile those up on a plate, a little sprinkle of parsley, and they're ready to go.
If you want even more great Super Bowl appetizer ideas, click right into this video for 10 more great bites.
Let us know what you're making or what's your favorite Super Bowl snack.